live on Fight TV. And this is an amateur fight scheduled for three-minute rounds. Introducing first in the red corner. He stands 5'6", weighing 135 pounds. Fighting out of Covington, Kentucky. He represents Dobo Sutai Combat Martial Arts. The Honduran Nightmare, Elder Ramirez. And in the blue corner, he stands 5'7", weighing 135 pounds. Fighting out of Norwood, Ohio, representing Vision MMA, Alexander Vandemort Caddell.
Against the debuting Ramirez. We are underway. We touch at the gloves, early leg kick. Rayshawn, how do you feel about that? There are some people who are going to obviously criticize Ramirez for that strategy.
It is definitely frowned upon. I'm not cool with it. I'm pretty sure Caddell is not going to be cool with that either. But, you know, sometimes you have to do what works. And for some people, that works. Other people.
Shane, Elder is facing a pretty solid experience disadvantage. What do you think about how he came out early on?
I think that had a lot to do with it. I think he was maybe the nerves got in the way. He wasn't thinking straight. But it seems he's keeping on his feet for a debut fight. Got his hands up, chin down. He's doing all right. Caddell got a big shot there.
Caddell just caught Ramirez with a huge left hand. Ramirez starts reaching for a double leg, did not change levels.
Received a right hook for his trouble.
Yeah, and again, like he stuffed that. Like I was saying, he has Jeremy Pender in his corner, who's BJJ encyclopedia.
Absolutely, local legend Jeremy Pender over there.
Caddell seems so composed in the cage, and even for a two-fight amateur, even though he does have the experience advantage, you don't always come across that.
Not at all. That's Vision MMA at its best right there. Caddell's representing one of the best gyms in the world. Just coming in here, 2-0, you know, young fighter, absolutely composed, handling the cage, running the cage right now.
And Vision does not take it easy on you in sparring, so I'm pretty sure he could take a punch or a kick or whatever Ramirez has to throw at him.
And Caddell does have the composure and the technique of a professional already, even after 2 fights, which is incredibly impressive because that's not always something that you see.
Not at all. I mean, 2-0, you're still learning the game, and this guy seems like he's already got it figured out. Ramirez, I mean, he's doing all right. He's holding his own. Doesn't seem to be very aggressive though. I think maybe he's feeling those punches still.
And he's
that leg kick was aggressive. Didn't follow it up, didn't set it up, but still it met its mark.
Absolutely.
And he's probably feeling those first fight jitters.
Absolutely. Does seem he has a little bit of bruising on the left eye there with Ramirez, and a big right from Caddell.
Ramirez is keeping his chin way too high, that hand way too low, and he's getting set up for that overhand right.
Ramirez still fearless after eating a couple of big punches. Still light on his feet.
Caddell
but his
definitely.
chin is up.
Ramirez went for what appeared to be a front kick, and I think it might have grazed the chin of Caddell there. I will say Caddell is definitely using this reach to his advantage right now.
As we head into the last 20 seconds of this round, it has been all Caddell early. Ramirez hoping to turn the tides up against the cage.
Tying it up, Caddell setting it heavy.
Caddell gave uppercut coming out.
Nice uppercut on the escape.
And that's our first round.
Seems a pretty clear-cut round 1 for Alex Caddell. How much of that is experience? How much of that is nerves for Ramirez, Shane?
It's hard to tell. Never seen Ramirez spar before this. I would say I'd have to lean towards experience for Caddell. I don't want to take anything from Ramirez. Caddell is a great fighter, and I think it's showing here tonight.
If you all want to relive this fight, check out our Facebook, Premier MMA Championship, and like tonight's photographers at TNT Wrestling Photos on Facebook.
Yeah, I believe like Alex Caddell does have the striking experience. So again, you know, coming out of Vision, you have Tiger Banks, you have Roger Bowling, like a few top-level strikers there in that gym. So the composure that Caddell is showing is from those sparring, but I'm pretty sure Ramirez has been through some battles down there at Double Satai too.
see two different corners here. One corner sitting down, one corner standing up. Rayshawn, do you have a preference?
I was trained to stand up. It's more of a mental thing to where a body in motion stays in motion. So if I'm standing, I'm ready to go versus sitting down and telling my body to rest.
Round 2 here at Premier MMA Championship 9. Caddell, Ramirez. Let's see if Ramirez can battle back after a tough first round.
Quick foot movement from Ramirez there.
Beautiful jab from Caddell. Created a little bit of separation. Caddell's doing a really good job at keeping Ramirez at range, popping back in, landing the strikes that he wants, and then getting back out. How can Ramirez overcome this? You see him rolling the shoulders a little bit, but Shane, are there any holes that you're seeing in Caddell right now?
I see Caddell as leading with that left hook a lot. That would be a nice opportunity for Ramirez to come in close, get that jab. It doesn't seem he's capitalizing on that opening, though, at all. He's just kind of backing up, staying safe, I guess you could say.
Towards the end of that round, we did see a bit of a grappling exchange just up against the cage. Ramirez couldn't get anything going, and Caddell connected with an uppercut on the break. And here we are seeing almost a mirror image of round 1. Rayshawn, as Elder Ramirez gets backed up, if you're Elder Ramirez, how do you want to switch things up?
I'll give him a different look, switch up my stance, throw the jab. I would jab more. I would definitely be more active with the striking to put it where I want to be. If I want to strike, I'm going to keep it in my range. I'm not just going to keep walking in with my hands down and walking in the strikes.
Meanwhile, Shane, I assume if you're Caddell, you just stick with what brought you to the dance.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a striker. He's playing his game. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
This has continued through our discussion. There's Caddell landing almost at will, but Ramirez very tough, hanging in there. And this was not an easy task for Ramirez to take on somebody who had 2 fights already.
Yeah, looking at Ramirez, I think he's got some cannons there, and he's a little punch happy, just waiting to let one off. And I think that might be affecting his game plan. He's focused on one thing only. So you can see Caddell, though, being the more technical fighter, coming in, piecing in some combinations, playing some levels.
Nice leg kick by Caddell. So often, I'll see fighters who get in the cage and don't understand the gravity of the situation until Rick Toms is saying their name. I don't necessarily see that in Ramirez. He's sticking in there. I mean, he could have gotten out of there if he wanted out of there as a debuting fighter, and he's still hanging in. He's taking tough combos, he's taking leg kicks, and he's still standing there squared up with a fighter like Alex Caddell. That says a lot in its own.
Absolutely. Tough kid, especially for a debut.
So much intestinal fortitude, and it's tough, it's rough, debuting under these lights. It's one thing to spar in your gym and be an ace at that, but when these lights hit and that cage closed, it's a different thought process. You hear all these people yelling from every direction. It's hard. It's very hard to like kind of get a gravity of the situation.
So Ramirez trying to capitalize, but saved by the bell.
Round, and it seems like another round for Caddell. If you're the corner of Ramirez, Shane, what are you saying?
Definitely step it up. Close that gap. You got to close that gap. He's piecing him apart with that range. So.
Rayshawn, you think he needs a finish? He being Ramirez?
Ramirez definitely needs a finish. He needs to figure out what he needs to do to get Caddell out of here, because right now he's definitely down 2 rounds.
We talked about the difference in corners between the first and second round. We're seeing a bit of a switch between round 2 and 3. Is that typical, Shane?
I would say what's happening now is they're afraid of lactic acid buildup. Ramirez, it's his first fight, cage jitters. You burn out a little quicker when you're not used to it. So maybe you're trying to keep that fluid moving.
Both of these guys showed up in insane shape. I mean, you got to remember, this likely isn't their day jobs. They still showed up in shape. They both look fresh as the daisy. Haven't stopped moving throughout the first 6 minutes of this fight. Think we see a pace change, Rayshawn?
Maybe. There's a good chance, but I don't think so. I think Caddell coming out of Vision, they train hard, double side. That's all they do is drill. So both of these guys, I believe, have gas tanks that can carry them to California and back.
Absolutely. I did see right at the last 10, 15 seconds of that fight, it seemed like Ramirez was coming out of his shell a little bit. So I'm hoping to see maybe a little more aggression out of him in this round.
Oh, as soon as that slip happened, Ramirez was quick to jump on it. I think he'll be looking for any opening possible in order to end this fight going into the third round.
Got a nice jab on Caddell there, coming from Ramirez. Caddell still opening with that left hook, leaving himself wide open.
And Ramirez's right hand is up really high. It's going to be hard with that right hand glued to the jaw of Ramirez for Caddell to connect with that lead left.
Absolutely. Doing a good job protecting himself. Both fighters really. Nice jab again on Caddell.
Ramirez should be using more head movement. He's just staying stationary. He's moving forward and backwards. Yeah. And when you move straight back like that, it puts you at a disadvantage because advanced fighter can use that as leverage.
Nice step kick from Ramirez.
That was a very fast kick from Ramirez. Lightning fast. Another one.
Nice.
And that looks like it's going to be a bread and butter attack for Ramirez as he gets further in his MMA career.
Absolutely.
You'll see fewer oblique kicks that fast.
Does seem Caddell's hands are coming down a little bit. I'm not sure if that's comfortability or exhaustion.
Ramirez looked to counter off of the leg kick with a big hook, but unfortunately the leg kick did a little too much damage for him for Ramirez to be able to connect.
Nice leg kick from Caddell. Does seem Ramirez has picked that pace up, but I am afraid if he doesn't get a finish here, it will be too little too late.
He has about 90 seconds to get it done, as Caddell has thus far taken this round as well as the first two in my estimation.
A little bit of movement for both fighters. Nice combination. Swing and a miss for Ramirez. Oh, beautiful.
Ramirez caught a huge punch to the face of Caddell.
Right. And Caddell smiles.
That was a beautiful overhand from Ramirez.
See if he can capitalize on that. Didn't seem Caddell was too affected, but we'll see.
That speaks to the resolve of Ramirez and the fortitude of Caddell. Ramirez saw that opening and just cracked Caddell with that overhand right. And look for it again.
I believe Ramirez is actually feeling the gravity of the situation and knowing he has to finish. And he's just waiting for an opening, which he should be making instead of waiting for.
Actually, he's got about 30 seconds to finish this fight, or it is gonna. I believe it's gonna lean towards Caddell.
That oblique kick of Ramirez has like a bit of an unusual movement and a step that almost deceives you as you're about to take it. Not a technique that you see a lot of in comparison to the typical oblique kick, but it works for Ramirez.
Right. Like you said, it's lightning fast. I mean, he steps into it, and the next thing you know, it's already connected.
Round three comes to an end. I thought this was Ramirez's best round, but Caddell probably still took it. I'm looking at a 30-27 for Caddell right now.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one, Sean.
I agree here. That's three of us.
See what the judges think.
If you're an elder Ramirez, I don't think there's a lot you can really hang your head on here because you went in there with a guy who is in his third amateur fight, and obviously, as we mentioned, Caddell's skill set is far beyond most amateur fighters, let alone amateur fighters with 3 fights, Rajon.
Yes, there's nothing to be ashamed of. He came in, he fought when many guys come to weigh in and don't show up on fight night.
Yeah.
Elder Ramirez definitely has a lot of potential ahead of him. All he has to do is just work on a few things, tighten a few things up, and maybe his next fight he won't have those jitters. What do you think, Sean?
I absolutely agree. Like you said, Caddell, a very seasoned, experienced fighter, even with just the 2 fights. Ramirez's debut fight took a little bit to come out of that shell, but when he did, I think he showed some serious potential.
You know, I spoke earlier about the condition of these 2 guys. They both look like they could go another 3. And that's pretty promising. Once you hit the professional level, you got to switch to those 5-minute rounds. And that's probably something that Caddell's going to be thinking about over the next year or so. And he looks more than up to the task. And it says a lot that Ramirez looks like he could still go after eating all those leg kicks, a lot of counter shots, throwing a lot of stuff of his own, never really stopping.
A lot of cardio in the cage tonight. See the different demeanors here of these 2 academies representing Vision, very calm, very confident, very collected. And Debutchi Tai, always motivated, always amped up.
right, fight fans, all three judges scored the bout 29-28. For the winner of this bout, by unanimous decision from the red corner, the Honduran Nightmare, Elder